overtime win, 10-point win. Your thoughts on the game? We'll take questions from the group.
Well, yeah, it was a hard-fought, very hard-fought win tonight. Very proud of our team and the competitiveness that they showed, the toughness, and I have a lot of respect for Dana Ford and the Missouri State program. I think they're very talented. I think they're very tough, and I think they're very physical. And they make it hard to play against you, especially the fact that they play 11 or 12 guys, and they present some real problems. So getting out of there with a win tonight was big for us. So I was going to say too, our crowd really helped us tonight, especially late in the game, being able to give us some juice and some energy. It was going through my mind in the second half of trying to balance and navigate substitution patterns versus what I was and wasn't willing to take off the floor, and sort of balancing that against, their mass substitutions. So I'm seeing fresh bodies come in and come out. But I thought our guys really responded with a lot of fight tonight, and it's a good game to build on for us.
You always talk about playing with a lot of force, especially in the paint. Is that what we saw tonight from your team?
I think in the second half you saw more of that. Yeah, I definitely do. The force that we play with in the paint usually correlates to our offensive success. Not entirely, but for large measure it does. And I think 32 free throws would be indicative of playing with strength and force. But that's a nightly you earn that, right? That's not a given. That's not a given. Certainly for us, that's not a given. I thought we played hard tonight. We played hard, and we played with purpose, and we played with poise when we got to the paint. So when you do those things, normally good things happen.
You're down 2 late in regulation. You call timeout. Is that basically the play you drew up? Getting the ball handled down low?
No, you get in a moment like that, and you got to have a man option and a zone option. We had a zone option. Kendall was an option on that particular play. Yes, he wasn't the first read, but I thought Luke, when you boil it down, end of games, very rarely is it just the action that scores. Very rarely. Players make plays, players win games, and that's what you saw there. Especially when you're facing a zone. They had good length with the zone. They were pressuring up, especially late in that possession, and Luke had the poise and wherewithal to make a really nice pass to Kendall. I'm anxious to see it on film, but I recall him going and getting it with 2 hands, landing strong, finishing strong, and that's what we want to do in those moments. And I was really proud of him because he's had a couple that have just, for whatever reason, missed late in games in those moments, and he delivered tonight, and he's such a huge presence for us. Kendall's so important to our team, so I was really happy for him that he was able to finish and get us into overtime.
I think you guys went the first 15, 16 minutes of the second half without a turnover.
Yeah.
It might be the longest stretch of the season.
Yeah. Those were 15 or 16 of the greatest minutes of my life, Vince. Yeah.
What triggered that, do you think?
I think our precision. I thought we weren't careless or sloppy. I thought we were more connected than we were in the first half. Their style of play takes some getting used to because they pressure and deny, and then they switch all exchanges on the floor, which is unique. Takes some getting used to, and I thought that we responded well. And that you see a totally different team when we are not giving away 5 or 10 extra possessions per game. And we've had a lot of close games, and we're going to have a lot of close games. So for us to be able to win those games in those moments, we're going to have to be able to value the basketball at an even higher level. Yeah.
Coach, you talked about taking those 32 free throws and made 29 of them. What can you say about that?
All I'll say, I'm a little superstitious, so I'll say they did a good job tonight. Did a really good job tonight, and guys on the radio asked about, what do we attribute that to? And I said, after the season, it was Mike Matthews. I said, Matty, after the season, we'll have a cold beer and we'll talk about it. But until then, I'm gonna keep moving. keep moving. So I'm proud of our guys for knocking those in, especially late in the last 4 or 5 minutes, and then in overtime. Yeah, so those are important, as you guys know. You well know a lot of these games are coming down to 2 or 3 possessions, and so those every free throw matters.
To see what Seneca did at the end of Evansville, and then to see him play like this tonight, I mean, that takes your team to another level, doesn't it? Things like that.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference for us. Yeah, and I think time will tell. Does that take us to another level? It certainly adds an element that we need and that we want from him, and that we count. We're going to have to count on him for. He doesn't have to carry the load, but I want to be able to put him in positions to be one of the main guys. And when he is one of the main guys, he impacts the game in a variety of ways, because what you're seeing now is stronger plays consistently in the paint, great poise. He's able to gather a crowd and make the right decisions, and he's being more aggressive. I think you're seeing – I would even want him to be more aggressive at times, because I think there's sometimes he's passing up rhythm threes, and I want him to take those. But yeah, I like where he's at right now. I like his approach, and he was steady tonight. He was just really mentally, physically, emotionally steady throughout that game, and that was felt like a heavyweight title bout.
For when Malachi made those 2 threes at the end of the first half, they were up by 9. It seemed like they had control. For you guys to get those, and I think you went down 4 in the locker room.
Yeah.
How big of a momentum swing was
I thought he was huge in the first half, because he was able to stem the tide, with some individual plays, but also with some aggressiveness. I've challenged all of our guards to, at the right times and the right ways, be more aggressive. I think at times there's an argument that we're too passive and not dynamic enough for me, and a little too easy to guard, quite frankly. So I thought Malachi Poindexter made a huge difference in the first half, especially. I thought he did the whole game, but in the first half, to your point, it very well could have been a 10, 12, 14-point game because we weren't hitting shots. And Missouri State, I thought, was playing very well. Yeah, I think they're a really good team. I think they're a very good team, very well coached. They have a brand and a DNA that's very identifiable to me, and that's what usually a sign of good programs.
You're not playing again this year, so that's kind of good.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
A game like this, I mean, you had basically 6 guys playing really, really heavy minutes. How do you have to kind of think about that going into Saturday?
Yeah, I think we got to be smart with how we manage their bodies, their time, their minds as well, because they're not in school right now. So I don't want to go into chill mode either. I don't want to pull out the pina coladas and go straight relaxing because, there's a mental engagement and a mental edge that's really, you can't ever let your guard down in league play. Anytime, really, but especially in league play, because you'll get popped in a big way if you're not mentally and physically prepared. So the good news is I do think that we have a good handful of guys that didn't play a lot of minutes that have helped us win games, and that will and that can help us win games. So I don't look at this team and say this one guy or this 2 guys going to have to carry the load. These 2 guys are going to have to carry the load for us every night. I don't think that's the case. Do we need a consistency? Yeah. But I think there's a lot of other guys that can step up just the same, So we'll like I told them, enjoy it tonight, and we'll come back tomorrow, and we're going to have to be serious-minded about preparing to win a really tough game against a really good opponent. Again, another team that I've known those guys and have respected those guys and that program for a long time, and it'll be a real challenge. It'll be a real challenge for us.
They won tonight at Indiana State, so
Yeah, there you go.
Coach, one of those guys who didn't play as much tonight, McChesney, was he just a little out of it tonight?
Oh, I don't know if he's out of it tonight. There's a feel, I guess, that I roll with in games, and I think Kendall's spirit and what he was imposing on the game was high level. And I thought that, and Liam is a really, he's an offensive connector for us. He's like an oil for our machine in a lot of ways. But the ball handling that was needed out there from a guard's perspective was really necessary tonight. And we played Seneca at the 4 a lot more than we normally do. And I don't know that I saw it playing out exactly that way. I thought that's what the game called for in that moment. And I believe in Liam at a high level. I think you all know that. I think he's a great teammate, a great person. He wants to be great, and he's really improving. He'll take tonight and what he learned, what we learned, and we'll watch film with him. And he's got to learn from some things, but I believe in him at a high level.
Can you see you hold them to 33-9? What does that say to you?
Says our defense was really responsible and connected tonight. Coach Judson, Rob Judson does a tremendous job with our defense. I give him a ton of credit for the improvements that we've made in that area, and the system that we're running, and just how he's teaching it. Rob he's a tremendous resource for me. I've shared that, but I have such great respect for his ability to teach. He's a former teacher, and you can see that how he teaches, how he inspires, how he communicates. He's quirky, and I think all great coaches I've been around have a quirkiness to them, and the players really respond to him. So I think he deserves a lot of credit for our efforts on defense, for sure.
All those guys who have University of Illinois degrees are like that.
No comment. That's, yeah.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.